Hey there, everyone. Ed here. So today we're talking about creating a factory walkthrough routine. So by the way, if you want, I'm going to show you a little worksheet today to hopefully help you out. If you want a copy of that worksheet, go ahead and type the word focus below in the comments. I'll get you a copy. If you happen to be watching this on my website, just click the download button below and you can get a copy. So factory walkthrough routine. So this training is specifically for those of you that are responsible for the factory, right? For the operation, for the production lines, et cetera. That could be, you could be the chief operating officer, perhaps, maybe you're the director of plant operations, the plant manager, any of these types of things, maybe even a production manager, this could be helpful for you. And the reason I wanted to talk about this is that when you're in the role of being responsible for the entire operation in the factory, there's a lot of things coming at you all of the time, right? So you have there's fires happening on the floor. There are meetings that you have to attend right in the office area, perhaps. Maybe there's some problem solving that you're working on. So there's just kind of a lot of things that happen from the moment you get into the factory. And so this method here is something that is going to help keep your day a little bit more organized. So again, what happens, right? We have some unpredictable days. We have things in our head that we want to accomplish, but things just kind of start falling apart. And because of that, what winds up happening is we actually have some unstable or unpredictable production areas, right? Maybe some lines are not working well. Again, lots of sort of problems happening. And then the other thing too is when we as the plant managers, as the factory operations leaders are not on the floor consistently enough, it actually turns out that the employees don't like that, right? Their morale starts to drop because they want to see you, right? They want to see your smiling face. They want support. They want to know that you care about what they're doing. So what we really want to do, right? We want to kind of flip the script a little bit, right? We want to make sure that your days, our days as a plant manager, as a plant operations manager, or plant operations leader, we want to have less surprises, right? We want to actually be able to come in and not be completely surprised by what's going on, right? The other thing is we want to be able to proactively, so be proactive, right, in helping the team on the floor. So that's another big thing we want to do. And then lastly, we really want to just kind of be around, we're the leader of the factory. We want to build relationships. We want to be that leader that truly does care about the people that are working hard for us. So so in order to do this, so I've got this method that I want to kind of walk you through here. It's super simple, but the main thing is you have to be disciplined in doing this. So so the idea is this, right? Here's the big idea. You want to plan your daily routine on how you're going to walk through your operation, but specifically you want to plan that out and identifying the key areas to focus on, right? We don't want to just say, well, I'm going to walk from point A to point B and just walk through, right? There's got to be some intent in what we're doing. So the first thing is identifying the key focus areas. The second thing is actually plan the visits. So just as I mentioned, we don't want to just aimlessly be walking around. We want to actually plan what we're going to do when we sort of get to each stop. If you think about think of this like a bus stop, right, or a bus route. So at each stop, there's a specific route. There's going to be a specific time that we're going to hit each spot, and there's specific things that we're going to do at each spot, right? That's planning the visits. And then the third thing is really just sort of sketching this daily walkthrough out. This is the worksheet I have. I'm going to show you. And go execute, right? So let's kind of dive in here and take a look at this worksheet, because I think it's going to be useful for you to kind of look at what this could look like for you. So again, if you want a copy of this worksheet, just go ahead and type the word focus, and I'll go ahead and get you a copy. And if you're looking at this from my website, you can just click on the download button below. So again, we call this the factory focus method. This is based on some standardized worksheets that we teach our clients. But I just kind of want to walk through what this particular worksheet looks like. It's really, really easy. Now, I've taken the liberty to kind of fill this out. So when you get a copy of this, it'll be empty for you to fill out on your own. But let me just kind of highlight what we're looking at here. So just from a high level here, what I've done is I've sketched out a hypothetical factory floor. Okay. So if you see here, right, we have different areas, right? This is the utility area. This might be the maintenance shop. I'm calling this pre-processing. It could be anything, right? We have finished processing. We have the packaging area, palletizing, finished goods warehouse, and then shipping. Okay, so those are all the areas of the factory that we have on our layout here, right? And so you would obviously draw out sort of the little boxes for your factory and keep this simple, right? We don't need to have an engineered drawing. This is just the idea here is to set up a daily walking routine for you as the plant manager to kind of walk through. So once you draw out kind of the basic layout of the factory, the next thing you want to do is you want to identify what it is you're going to do at each of these locations. And you'll see there's some symbols over here, right? So if you see the symbol legend, these are good ways to just kind of put some visual indicators on your own little map here for yourself to identify what you're going to do at each stop. So a control item is something that you're looking for that is specific to your process. So for example, if you have maybe as part of your HACCP plan, right, or you have a critical control point in your process. For example, a lot of bottling facilities will have some sort of pasteurization process. That may be an area where, as a plant manager, that's a control item for the process. So you really want to kind of hone in on that and really keep an eye on that. And you'll notice here what I did is I actually just hypothetical here, right? I put a little control item in the finished processing area because perhaps maybe there's a kill step there that I want to keep an eye on as a plant manager. And then over here in finished goods and warehousing, again, maybe there's a quality control point that I want to keep an eye on. Okay. The next thing you see here is this visual check. A visual check is something like maybe a performance dialogue board or a performance management board, like a dry erase board. There's some KPIs, maybe some activities the team is working on in that area. Maybe a stand-up meeting occurs, right? Things of that sort. So that's what we're calling a visual check. Could be other things as well. It could be maybe you're interested in looking at the level of a water tank, right? There's a gauge or something that you want to look at. So this is an opportunity to put these symbols on here, right, to identify that you're going to be looking for something. And you can kind of see here, I've put down some visual checks here on this hypothetical factory that I've drawn out. So they could be various things, and I'll go through that in one moment. So let's kind of back up here. So then the last thing here obviously is safety. So safety is I've identified here as red X's or red crosses on this drawing here. And safety items, obviously we're going to be safety, we're going to be concerned and have a safety mindset throughout the entire factory all the time. But what we're trying to do is really hone in on where the kind of the highlighted areas where we really need to focus on safety as a plant manager walking through. Perhaps there was a recordable injury or an incident, a safety incident in an area, and we really want to make sure that whatever problem solving was done, maybe some corrective actions that were implemented, we want to kind of check in on those to make sure that they're sustaining themselves and they're actually staying in place, right? So again, you see here, there's a couple of safety crosses that I've put on this drawing here just for me to highlight, right? So once we've identified what we're looking for, what our plan is at each stop. So remember, this is like a bus route, right? So think of this as like a bus route. Then we want to kind of say, okay, what is going to be, how are we going to walk through this facility, right? And so what you see here is I've actually put down numbers. Now this could have been drawn any which way that I wanted to, right? And let's just say that in order to be efficient, you want to start at one point and kind of go through the factory. Maybe you want to walk through the factory as the process flows, right? Maybe you want to walk backwards. Maybe you want to, hit certain areas because of a certain shift, the way the shifts are laid out in your factory. So the way that you set up the bus route, right, in what order is specifically and unique to you, okay? But in this case, what I decided is I said, well, the first stop I'm going to make is at this utility area. This happens to be a boiler in my hypothetical factory. Then I want to go to the maintenance shop. Then I want to go to the pre-processing area. Then I want to go to finished processing. Then I want to go to packaging, palletizing, finished goods warehousing, and then finally the shipping. And then there's a little arrow there, which takes me to the next phase of my day, of the next stop of my day, right? So again, the stops here, this bus route is truly up to you, and it should be laid out in a way that makes sense to you, but don't overthink it, right? The idea is that you just want to get out into the factory and check on things, right? The next step, what we want to do is we want to say, okay, for each of these stops, what are we doing, right? And that's where on the left-hand side here, this is where you see the actual, calling it the work element or the activity. This is what, again, this is a note for you because this is standard work for you as the plant manager, as the factory leader, to walk through and be looking for things. So let's kind of zoom in here and see what I've got. So again, the numbers here on the side correlate with these numbers here in the factory, right? So let's kind of back up here for one moment. So if I kind of zoom in here, right, what we're saying here is that step one, we are going to check on the boiler for whatever reason, right? Maybe the boiler is having some reliability issues and we just are really concerned about it. So as the plant manager, it's something that we want to check out. Now, what you'll see here, you see this handwork. We're not, as a plant manager, we're not necessarily doing any handwork. This is a general document that we use, a standardized work document we use for other things. So in order to keep it standardized, we go ahead and leave the wording in there of handwork. But the idea here is, what is it, how long are you going to be spending time at that step? And that's what the handwork means. So in this case, we're saying that it's going to be 5 minutes, right? Then once we're done with that, then what we're saying is it's going to take us, let me use a different color here. It's going to take us 5 minutes to walk to the next spot. Again, this is going to be specific to your factory, right? And then the next spot, when we get to the next spot, which happens to be spot number 2, we're going to be doing a maintenance stand-up. So now we're going to be doing, we're going to be going into the maintenance area. We're going to be doing a stand-up meeting. It's going to take us 15 minutes. And when we're done with that, we're going to walk 5 minutes to go to the next spot, which happens to be the pre-processing stand-up meeting, which also takes 15 minutes, and so on and so on. Okay, so you can kind of see here, each of these are different, right? I have finished processing stand-up, packaging, SU is my shorthand for stand-up. Palletizing check, right? Because I'm checking on something in the palletizing area. There's not necessarily a meeting I'm going to attend there with the team. I'm just looking for something. Again, there may have been an issue in that area that I'm really wanting to focus on. Finished goods warehousing stand-up meeting. So again, I'm going to be doing a stand-up meeting there. Then I'm going to go through the shipping area, and I'm going to be doing a check in there. Again, the check is unique to whatever the situation might be. And then you'll see here, right? So the way this drawing is laid out, there's only a step 8, right? So 8 is over here. So I've actually put in a step 9, which means that I'm going to be going to my senior team stand up, which may be in the office area or something, which I could have put on this drawing, but I decided not to. So, so once you figure out what you're going to do at each stop, then the last step here is, let me kind of go through here and remove some of this stuff. Okay. So the very last step here is to kind of highlight what is going to be our key focus as we're walking through our facility. Okay. So this is going to be, this should be an ever-changing, evolving document, right? You should be updating this weekly, monthly, quarterly, whatever makes sense to you, right? Depending on what sort of activities, what sort of opportunities or problem solving is going on in the factory. But the idea is that, the path may be similar or the same. Perhaps some of the safety concerns or some of the visual checks or the control items are going to change. But the key focus areas should be changing on a regular basis. So what you see here is I'm saying that the key focus for me as the plant manager in this hypothetical factory is I really want to hone in on the boiler reliability, because again, maybe we've been having some issues at the boiler. So that's, that's over here at step one, right? Another key focus area that I'm concerned about is the packaging changeover times, right? So maybe there's been some problem solving, some Kaizen events over in the packaging area, and I really wanna, keep an eye on that, right? So that's what this area is over here. I'm wanting to keep an eye on that. And the last thing I really want to focus on in this particular example is the maintenance shop 5S. So perhaps there was a 5S workplace organization activity that occurred in the maintenance shop. And I really want to make sure that the team over there is sustaining that 5S activity, right? So again, those are going to be the three things I'm going to focus on as I'm walking through. This could be, again, for 1 whole week, 2 weeks, a month, whatever duration makes the most sense. So that's pretty much it. So once you create this, again, this is it should be an ever-changing document. You can download this, right? Again, if you want to copy, just type the word focus below. If you're on my website, click on the download button. But take this, it'll be blank, and then make changes to it, right? Just kind of sketch out your thing and do what works best for you. But overall, again, what we're trying to do is we're trying to organize our day, right? We're trying to make sure that we're trying to have fewer surprises every day. We want to make sure that we're being proactive in how we help our team and how we communicate with our team. And then, doing this is going to help build relationships, right? One other thing I wanted to mention, which I failed to mention, I apologize. So if you take all these times here and you add them all up, right at the bottom, you see here that your actual sort of what we'd call handwork time or even engagement time is 95 minutes, and then your walking time in this particular example is 40 minutes. So this overall exercise, right, is going to be 135 minutes. So really not that long, right? It's 2 hours and 15 minutes of your time, but as the plant manager, this is probably the most valuable, most impactful part of your job, right, is to go out and be keeping an eye on the factory and talking with the employees, right? But you want to do it in a way that's effective, and you want to do it in a way that's efficient, so that you can then move on and do other things which are more strategic and more planning based, right, for your team throughout the day. So, so hopefully this is helpful. Hopefully this is useful for you. Again, comment the word focus below, and if you want to copy the worksheet, happy to get it to you. Again, if you're watching this on my website, just go ahead and click on the download button. The other thing is that we help factory leaders hopefully just like yourself, right? Implement things like this and get more out of their factory, right? Where our goal is to really help factory leaders build out world-class factories. So if that's you, if you're interested in getting some help or maybe chatting with us, you can type the word faster below, and I'm happy to reach out to you, and we can get you connected with either myself or someone on the team, and help you along your journey of becoming world-class. The other thing too is if there's anyone you know of that may get some value out of this video, please feel free to share this. This is meant to be shared with anyone on your team. Maybe you have some other colleagues. We'd love to get this in front of as many people as possible to help as many people as possible. So yeah, so hopefully this is helpful, and I can't wait to hopefully meet you and talk to you soon. In the meantime, have a great day, and we'll talk soon. Take care.